Aylesbury is a parliamentary constituency represented in the House of Commons of the United Kingdom since 1992 by David Lidington, of the Conservative Party. Boundaries. The constituency is based on the large town of Aylesbury and its suburbs, as well as a small swathe of villages broken up by woods and cultivated land in the centre of the Chilterns, which cover most of Buckinghamshire and parts of 3 other counties. Boundary review. Following the review of parliamentary representation in Buckinghamshire, the Boundary Commission for England made several changes to the Aylesbury constituency which took effect at the 2010 general election. Aylesbury has electoral wards: Aston Clinton, Aylesbury Central, Bedgrove, Cold Harbour, Elmhurst and Watermead, Gatehouse, Mandeville and Elm Farm, Oakfield, Quarrendon, Southcourt, Walton Court and Hawkslade and Wendover in the district of Aylesbury Vale, Bledlow and Bradnam, Greater Hughenden, Lacey Green, Speen and the Hamptons, and Stokenchurch and Radnage in Wickham district. History. The seat was a much narrower, generally urban borough with a 2-member status at Westminster from its grant of a limited franchise in 1553 until the passing of the Redistribution of Seats Act 1885, when it transformed into a large county division, which has seen on national boundary reviews a gradual reduction in physical size as its population has grown. Political history. The Conservative Party has held the seat since 1924, and held it at the 2015 general election with a 50.7% share of the vote. Frontbenchers. David Lidington, the current incumbent, is the leader of the House of Commons and Lord President of the Council in Theresa May's cabinet. During the premiership of David Cameron, he served as Minister for Europe, campaigning unsuccessfully to remain in the EU. From 2007 to 2010 he had been his party's Shadow Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. MPs who have received honours: Sir Stanley Reed edited the Times of India from 1907 until 1924 and received correspondence from the major figures of India such as Mahatma Gandhi. In all, he lived in India for 50 years. He was respected in the United Kingdom as an expert on Indian current affairs. He devised the sobriquet for Jaipur, the Pink City of India. Constituency profile. Aylesbury expanded significantly after World War II, in a diverse way, with a similar proportion of this recent development being social housing estates as private estates. Workless claimants who were registered job seekers were in November 2012 lower than the regional average of 2.4% and national average of 3.8%, at 2.2% of the population based on a statistical compilation by The Guardian, whereas the average house price is higher than the national average. In the Aylesbury Vale Authority, this in the first quarter of 2013 was £262,769, the lowest of the 4 authorities in Buckinghamshire, and this compares to the highest county average of £549,046 in South Bucks district. Members of Parliament. MPs 1553 to 1659 constituency created. Returned 1 member to the 1st and 2nd Protectorate Parliaments. Returned 2 members to the 3rd Protectorate Parliament and thereafter. Under the Redistribution of Seats Act 1885, the parliamentary borough of Aylesbury was abolished. The name was transferred to a new, larger county division of Buckinghamshire, which elected 1 member of Parliament. Elections. Elections in the 2010s, elections in the 2000s, elections in the 1990s, elections in the 1980s, elections in the 1970s, elections in the 1960s, elections in the 1950s, elections in the 1940s, general election 1939-40. Another general election was required to take place before the end of 1940. The political parties had been making preparations for an election to take place from 1939, and by the end of this year, the following candidates had been selected: Conservative, Stanley Reed; Liberal, Athol Robertson; Labour, Reginald Groves. Elections in the 1930s, elections in the 1920s, elections in the 1910s, endorsed by the coalition government.